I am Dr. Laura Moreno, and in this video, I want to talk to you about natural infusions to improve circulation and why so many people turn to these remedies when they start noticing signs that their blood flow may not be working as efficiently as it should. Circulation is one of those bodily functions that we rarely think about until something feels off. Cold hands and feet, a sensation of heaviness in the legs, tingling, fatigue, or swelling can all be subtle signs that blood is not moving as smoothly as it should. These symptoms often appear gradually, and because they are not usually painful, they tend to be normalized or ignored. Blood circulation is responsible for delivering oxygen and nutrients to every tissue in the body and for removing waste products. When circulation is compromised, even slightly, the effects can be felt in many different systems at once. This is why improving circulation often leads to a general sense of well-being rather than relief in just one specific area. Natural infusions have been used for centuries as supportive tools to help the body function more efficiently. It's important to understand from the start that these infusions are not miracle cures, and they are not substitutes for medical treatment when one is needed. Their role is supportive, not corrective, and their effectiveness depends heavily on how, when, and why they are used. One of the reasons infusions are so popular is because they are simple. Warm liquids themselves can promote relaxation of blood vessels, which may temporarily improve circulation. Beyond that, certain plants contain compounds that influence blood flow, vessel tone, and inflammation. Many people who seek out circulation-supporting infusions do so because they experience leg heaviness, especially at the end of the day. This sensation often comes from blood pooling in the lower extremities, something that can be worsened by prolonged sitting or standing. While an infusion won't reverse structural issues, it may help support vascular function when combined with movement and other habits. Another common reason people look for these remedies is cold sensitivity. Hands and feet that are persistently cold may indicate that blood is being prioritized to core organs, leaving peripheral areas with reduced flow. Stress, smoking, sedentary behavior, and hormonal factors can all contribute to this pattern. Herbal infusions are often perceived as harmless because they are natural. This assumption can be misleading. Plants contain active compounds, and those compounds interact with the body. This is why dosage, frequency, and individual sensitivity matter just as much with herbs as they do with medications. One plant commonly associated with circulation support is ginger. Ginger has warming properties and compounds that may promote vasodilation, which means helping blood vessels relax and widen slightly. Many people notice a warming sensation after drinking ginger infusion, especially in colder environments. Ginger infusions are often used by people who feel cold easily or who experience sluggishness. The warmth is not just physical, it can also create a subjective sense of increased energy. However, ginger may not be suitable for everyone, especially in large amounts or in people with certain digestive sensitivities. Another infusion frequently mentioned is cinnamon. Cinnamon has been traditionally used to support metabolic and circulatory processes. Its aroma alone can trigger a sensation of warmth, which is one reason it's commonly included in blends aimed at improving blood flow. Cinnamon, however, must be used carefully. Certain types contain compounds that can be harmful in high doses. This highlights an important point about natural infusions. More is not better. A mild, well-prepared infusion is usually more beneficial than a strong, concentrated one. Hibiscus is another plant often associated with circulation. Its deep color reflects the presence of antioxidants, which can help protect blood vessels from oxidative stress. Some people use hibiscus infusions to support vascular health and blood pressure balance. The taste of hibiscus is tart and refreshing, which makes it appealing as a daily beverage. However, its effects can vary depending on the individual and it may interact with certain medications. This is why awareness is essential before making any infusion a daily habit. Garlic, although more commonly consumed as food, can also be used in infusion form. Garlic contains compounds that influence blood vessel flexibility and circulation. Its strong flavor makes it less popular as a tea, but its effects are widely discussed. Not everyone tolerates garlic well, especially on an empty stomach. For some, it can cause irritation or digestive discomfort. This again reinforces the idea that circulation support should never come at the expense of overall comfort. Ginkgo biloba is often associated with circulation, particularly cerebral circulation. It has been studied for its potential effects on blood flow to the brain and extremities. Ginkgo infusions are sometimes used by people who experience mental fog or cold hands. Despite its popularity, ginkgo is not appropriate for everyone. It can affect blood clotting and may interact with medications. This makes it a clear example of why natural does not mean risk-free. Rosemary is another plant traditionally linked to circulation. Its aroma alone can feel stimulating, and it has been used to support alertness and peripheral blood flow. Rosemary infusion is often described as invigorating rather than calming. This type of infusion may be more suitable earlier in the day, especially for people who are sensitive to stimulating effects. Timing matters when it comes to how the body responds. One aspect that is often overlooked is hydration itself. Mild dehydration can thicken the blood slightly, making circulation less efficient. Simply increasing fluid intake through warm infusions can improve circulation indirectly, regardless of the plant used. Temperature also plays a role. Warm infusions tend to promote relaxation of blood vessels, while very cold drinks can cause temporary constriction. This is why warm teas are often preferred by people with circulation complaints. Circulation is deeply influenced by movement. No infusion can compensate for complete inactivity. Gentle walking, stretching, and changing positions throughout the day are fundamental. Infusions work best when they complement movement, not replace it. Stress has a powerful effect on circulation. Chronic stress causes blood vessels to constrict as part of the fight-or-flight response. Over time, this can contribute to cold extremities and tension. Some infusions support circulation indirectly by promoting relaxation rather than directly affecting blood flow. Chamomile, for example, is not a circulatory stimulant, but by calming the nervous system, it may reduce stress-related vasoconstriction. This demonstrates how circulation support can be indirect but still meaningful. Peppermint is another interesting example. It can create a sensation of freshness and improved flow, especially in the digestive tract. For some people, this sensation extends to an overall feeling of lightness. However, peppermint may worsen symptoms in people with reflux or certain sensitivities. Again, individual response is key. It's also important to consider why circulation feels compromised in the first place. Smoking, lack of movement, tight clothing, dehydration, and poor sleep all affect blood flow. Infusions alone cannot override these factors. Using multiple infusions at once is a common mistake. Mixing several circulation-supporting herbs without understanding their combined effects can lead to unwanted reactions. Simplicity is usually safer. Frequency matters as much as choice. Drinking a circulation-supporting infusion occasionally is very different from using it daily for months. The body adapts, and prolonged use may not have the same effect as short-term support. Another point worth addressing is expectations. Natural infusions tend to work subtly. They support processes rather than forcing changes. Expecting immediate, dramatic results often leads to disappointment or overuse. Circulation issues can also be secondary to other conditions, such as hormonal imbalances, metabolic issues, or cardiovascular disease. In these cases, infusions may provide comfort, but should not delay proper evaluation. Listening to the body's response is essential. A feeling of warmth, relaxation, or lightness may indicate that an infusion is supportive. Discomfort, palpitations, dizziness, or digestive upset are signs to stop. Circulation changes throughout the day. Morning stiffness, afternoon leg heaviness, and evening cold sensitivity may all reflect different underlying mechanisms. Timing infusions according to these patterns can make them more effective. For example, warming infusions earlier in the day may support morning sluggishness, while calming infusions later may help counter stress-related constriction. There is also a cultural and emotional component to infusions. The ritual of preparing and drinking a warm tea encourages pauses, breathing, and awareness, all of which influence circulation through the nervous system. This ritual aspect should not be underestimated. Sometimes the benefit comes not only from the plant, but from the moment of care it creates. Natural infusions can be part of a broader approach to supporting circulation, but they work best when used intentionally, with respect for their limits and attention to how the body responds. There is still much to explore about how different infusions affect different types of circulation issues, how individual constitution influences response, and how to recognize when support is no longer enough and deeper evaluation is needed. And that is something we need to continue unfolding carefully because circulation is not a single, uniform process, and the way the body responds to support can vary greatly depending on where the imbalance originates. Peripheral circulation, for example, involves the smallest blood vessels, the capillaries, which are highly sensitive to temperature, stress, and hormonal signals. When these vessels constrict too easily, hands and feet become cold, numb, or pale. In these cases, warming infusions may feel helpful, but they work best when the nervous system is also addressed. Central circulation, on the other hand, involves larger vessels and the heart's pumping efficiency. Infusions alone do not change heart function, but they may support vessel flexibility and reduce low-grade inflammation that interferes with efficient blood flow. Venous circulation is another important piece. When blood has difficulty returning to the heart from the legs, heaviness, swelling, and visible veins may appear. Infusions that support vascular tone may help ease discomfort, but movement and gravity management remain essential. One common mistake is assuming that all circulation problems are the same. Someone with cold hands due to stress-related vasoconstriction may respond very differently to an infusion than someone with leg swelling from prolonged standing. This is why observation matters. Paying attention to when symptoms appear, what improves them, and what worsens them provides valuable information. Infusions should be chosen based on these patterns, not trends or generalized advice. Another factor to consider is digestion. Poor digestion can indirectly affect circulation by limiting nutrient absorption. Iron, magnesium, and B vitamins all play roles in blood health and vessel function. If digestion is compromised, circulation support may feel incomplete. Some infusions support circulation by supporting digestion first. Fennel, for example, is more commonly associated with digestive comfort, but by reducing bloating and abdominal pressure, it may indirectly improve venous return from the lower body. Turmeric is another plant often mentioned in relation to circulation because of its anti-inflammatory properties. In infusion form, its absorption is limited unless combined with fats or black pepper, which is why its effects as a tea may be subtle. This highlights another important point. Not all plants are equally effective in infusion form. Some compounds extract well in water, others do not. Understanding this prevents unrealistic expectations. Green tea contains compounds that may support vascular health through antioxidant effects. However, it also contains caffeine, which can constrict blood vessels in some people. For some, it improves circulation. For others, it worsens symptoms. This contradiction illustrates why individual testing matters more than general recommendations. What feels energizing to one person may feel uncomfortable to another. Infusions can also influence blood viscosity indirectly through hydration. Thicker blood moves more slowly. Simply increasing fluid intake can improve flow, especially in people who chronically underdrink water. However, excessive fluid intake late in the day can worsen nighttime urination and sleep, which indirectly affects circulation through fatigue and stress. Balance is key. The timing of infusions can be adjusted based on daily rhythms. Morning infusions may aim to gently stimulate, midday ones to support sustained energy, and evening infusions to reduce tension and support recovery. Seasonal changes also affect circulation. Cold weather naturally causes vessel constriction. During colder months, warming infusions may feel more beneficial, while in warmer months, lighter, cooling infusions may be better tolerated. Cultural traditions often reflect this. Many warming spices are used in colder climates, while cooling herbs are favored in warmer regions. These traditions developed through observation, not coincidence. Another aspect often overlooked is clothing. Tight garments restrict circulation mechanically. No infusion can overcome constant physical constriction. Comfort and mobility are foundational. Sleep posture can also influence circulation. Sleeping positions that compress limbs or restrict breathing can worsen morning symptoms. Infusions alone cannot correct these factors, but awareness can. When circulation improves, people often notice secondary benefits: clearer thinking, warmer extremities, less stiffness, and improved energy. These changes are gradual and cumulative rather than immediate. It's also important to recognize signs that circulation support is not enough. Persistent swelling, sudden color changes, pain, or asymmetry should never be managed solely with home remedies. Natural infusions are best viewed as conversation starters with the body, not final answers. They offer gentle feedback. If the body responds well, that information can guide further care. If it doesn't, that information is just as valuable. Respecting limits is part of responsible use. Taking breaks from regular infusions allows the body to reset and prevents dependency or reduced responsiveness. Rotation can also be useful. Instead of using the same infusion daily, alternating based on needs can reduce overstimulation and maintain effectiveness. Ultimately, circulation reflects how well different systems communicate and cooperate. Blood flow responds to movement, breath, emotion, temperature, and nourishment. Infusions touch only one layer of that complexity. Understanding where they fit, how to use them thoughtfully, and when to look beyond them is essential, and there is still more to examine about how circulation adapts over time, and what signs indicate that supportive measures need to evolve, because at some point, the goal is no longer just to stimulate circulation, but to understand what your body has been compensating for all along. Natural infusions can be useful allies when they are chosen with intention and used with awareness. They can support, soothe, and gently encourage better blood flow, but they cannot replace listening to the signals that led you to seek them in the first place. Cold extremities, heaviness, fatigue, or swelling are not random inconveniences. They are messages. Improving circulation is rarely about one plant or one habit. It is about creating conditions where the body no longer has to struggle to move blood where it needs to go. When infusions are part of that process, they work best as support, not as a solution on their own. Knowing when an infusion helps, when it does nothing, and when it makes things worse is part of learning your own patterns. That awareness is what turns a simple habit into conscious self-care. Circulation improves when the body feels safe, nourished, and supported, and any tool you use should move you in that direction, not distract you from it.